Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos?
One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster juice, freshly made, your way.
The rock faces around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Moe, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third draw of the 2025 Saville Grand Prix here at the Saville Community Sports Complex in Edmonton, Alberta, on the grounds of the University of Alberta. And we got some University of Alberta grads playing in this evening's game. We'll come to that. But my name is Jim Nix, and I'm going to be here with Connor Sims doing production for us tonight. And we're looking at a game between Johnson Tao and Kohsuke Hirata. Tao's from here in Edmonton, and Hirata from Kitami, Japan. Both teams 1-0. Early on, so we've got, looks like Hirata's got hammer here. Johnson Tao, with former 2022 national junior champion, coming out of the University of Alberta Golden Bears program. Very nice shot. He's stone is Andrew Noel. Could be Nowell. Not too sure, but quite a difference in these two, the stature of these two skips. Looks like Hirata's pretty small guy, kind of about my height probably, and Johnson Tao is quite a bit taller. So one guy won't have any problem standing behind the other guy to see, and the other guy will. But got a little out turn, come around down to the yellow stone. Don't think he's really trying to move it, really just kind of sit on it. Maybe move it a little bit. Got a curl though. Get up there. This afternoon we saw the rocks when they were finishing like crazy. Shot like that would finish real hard. We're on the same sheet, so I suspect we will see some curl as this game goes along for sure. Some real serious finish kind of curl, not just your average 4.5 feet of curl, which is still pretty darn good. We were up to 5.5 to 6 feet earlier today on draws to the button. So Tao playing the hit on the redstone in the 4-foot area, with second stone, looks like Ben Morin. Nicely done. Hirata now. Going to play the yellow in the forefoot. The second stone, Koi Sato, I believe. Apologize if I'm getting these incorrect. I didn't usually have time before the game to kind of try to go in and use one of the sites to get proper pronunciation or close to proper pronunciation on some of the names that are difficult, but just ran out of time today to do that, so just kind of winging it a little bit here. So Baron Morin with his second stone here in the first stand. Coming around, but really curling hard. He'll get a little piece, just enough to get it out. Debatable who's shot here. Looks a little bit like the Yellowstone is shot. Hirata's going to try to remove that. He'll lose his backman, or at least that was his initial call. We'll see if he still does. He does have hammer, so he could certainly be a little more aggressive if he chose. He could freeze that if he wanted. He could come around the center as well if he wanted. But he's going to hit it. He would definitely like to stay here because he really doesn't want to let Tao have a chance to go around that center guard without having a rock in the house. This looks like he's going to be okay. Backed it up a little bit. Well swept. And a little bit of a roll. This is Kenan Whip. I learned last year, and I thought his name didn't really look like Keenan, it looked like Kenan, and his mom helped me out and told me that it was Kenan, so that's good. Very nice shot. And I don't know if I had the right name there. Get a little count on the rocks. Yeah, I think so. Shingo Yusui, third stone for Team Hirata. Trying to get this to curl. A little different approach. Going over there now. I don't know. He might get a piece. He will, but not very much. Interesting angle they took on the broom on that when they're sweeping that, and it was more straight up and down in front of the stone versus at a bit of an angle trying to get that curl to go till the end. Then he kind of moved around a little bit. So Kennan's second shot here in the first. Kennan was a skip last year, I believe. He's also the 2024 Junior National Champions. Couple of championship caliber players here, and both former skips. Cannon, I believe, was a skip even last year when we called some of the games that he played in. I'm pretty sure he was skipping last year. Very nicely done there. So Hirata into just a little bit of trouble here. He's not in massive danger yet, but he's certainly not looking like a first end that you'd like to have. You'd like to be trying to figure out a way to get two here, and now you're looking at just a way to make sure you get out of trouble. Yusui trying to get more than one here. And he's going to maybe a bit unlucky. Didn't quite have the angle right. But it's a little better than it was. For now, at least. Looking at where they can put this that there wouldn't be a double. They're actually going to go to try to bite the top of the 8-foot, which is interesting, except the fact that I think Hirata will play a little hit and roll. Now, if he puts this in the right place and Hirata makes the hit and roll, he'll be able to play the little run back on the one he's throwing right now, but I don't know if this is my favorite spot for this shot or not. I think I would go ahead and come right around that. Come right around probably to close to the tee line. If you were down around the tee line somewhere, going to be very hard and very difficult for them to take a shot at the double and end up anywhere good. So realize if you're top 4 or mid 4, you might end up with a Hirata making a double and staying buried. So we'll see where he ends up, see how it plays out. As we said, Johnson Tao, Tiao. Whiff in the house, just calling line. Going to end up, I think, just about exactly where he wanted it to be. And he will. That's exactly what he called for. Just not 100% sure why. But it might work out. If Hirata does make the roll here, those rocks will be separated enough that be a bit of a challenge for Tao to make the what would be then a double raise takeout. Kohsuke Hirata. As we said, out of Kitami, Japan, ranked 35th in the world. Be close to getting that roll, and it's a beauty. Would like to got probably another inch or two out of it. Just looking at that again, you can see just nice weight, nice control weight. Sweepers not doing too much. Trying to hold it a little bit straight there. It just needed to curl, actually, probably ever so slightly, though, to be honest. I mean, it was just about perfect, and nothing really wrong with that at all. Very nicely done for Kohsuke. Now the little short double run back is there, but you can see at least, and he may make this and leave it all buried perfect, and that's good, but you can see where my concern was on putting that rock there. Now all of a sudden you've got a much harder shot than I think you needed to have. But anyway, I suspect Johnson will be very close on this. If he doesn't make it, it'll be very close. Final rock in the first stand for Johnson. From here in Edmonton. Couple of short run backs. One short run back, but it's two parts to it. It's got a curl. And it does. And did everything go out? Not yet, but yeah, made it close enough. One more luck. So a very nice throw. Almost didn't work out quite as good as they hoped, but just needed to maybe come up a hair more. Anyway, very good shot. Sitting two with no realistic double in sight. No double that you'd play unless it was the last rock of the game and you had to make a double. So Hirata now will play just a little hit. Flop inside just a little tiny bit. Might need to, maybe a nose hit gets it, but if you want to be safe, you want to be just any little piece past nose, and he'll have it for sure. Just pretty easy way trying to make this move now. He does have to get at least to the nose. And he is at the nose, and we'll see what the result is. It looks like it's going to be one red, but we're never 100% sure from here. See if somebody gives us an indication. And it looks like, no, I thought they indicated red, but they are going to measure. So we'll hang on for a couple seconds till they get the measure done, and then we will go to a short break here at the Saville Grand Prix Men's Spiel on Curling Stadium. We'll take a chance. We always like to remind anybody, we're not usually quite this early in the game, but if you are watching this game, it's nice if you could subscribe and like on our channel. It works out very well. Works good for us, and it works good for you as well, as we endeavor to bring you many events. We have a number of events on this weekend as well. Connor getting pretty good following these rocks around with this camera. I'm impressed. So I still don't know who won, but other than that, I'm impressed. So we'll just give it just a couple seconds. Now, let's go to a break, and we will be back right after this and let you know who did win the measure here in the first end.
That's life. That's what all the people say.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk, and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos?
One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Blister juice, freshly made your way.
So we're back for end number 2, and in effect, Hirata did win the measure in the first end, as we kind of thought, but we just wanted to be sure before we gave him that point. So Tao will have hammer here for the first time. Throwing up a corner guard. And that's a pretty good spot. It's just about, I said in the first game, that guarding just the middle to edge of the 8-foot is about where I like corner guards to be. And I know it partly depends on the curl, but given that almost every place we play this year and in past few years, it still curls. Maybe not exactly the same, but pretty close. So it's pretty safe to pick a line that you like to have your corner guards on and say that you can get there, and you can't get there in other sheets. So a little bit of hiccups here from some reason. I don't know why, but we'll try not to make a racket. Very nicely done. Ryota Maguro was the lead for Team Hirata. And Andrew Noel, could be Nowell, but Noel is the lead for Team Tao. In the come around, I think it was a come around freeze of the second rock. Yeah, kind of corner freeze that red one that's in the 4-foot area. And this should swoop right here really good. And it will. Just a half a pound heavy, I guess, but pretty nice. We're at it now, basically the same shot. Interesting, everybody uses their hand signals a little bit to describe things, and Hirata seemed to almost be drawing a picture with that one. It was kind of interesting how he moved his hands on that shot. This one might be a little warm. Coming down. Will it come down enough, though? It probably works okay. Tao now will ask second stone Van Moren to hit and roll behind the corner guard on the left as we look at it in the long view here. Which is good. So often we see those corner guards go up and nothing ever ends up being behind them at all. So, yeah, we still might not have one get there, but at least we have an attempt to get behind it, which is good. That's a good shot. Very nice. Got the roll over there without any help from the sweeper or anything. Perfect. Not too sure how much sweeping Kennan's done over the years. I don't know if he's been a skip almost all of his years in junior or not, but we'll probably get to find that out here somewhere as the game goes along. So Hirata looking at what to do here. He's going to decide looks like he's going to play the little short run back on his own. Really almost can't call that a run back. It's just a few inches from the other stone, so it would be very difficult to hit the red and not hit the yellow. I don't even know if it's possible to have that happen. So let's see how Koiya Sato makes out on this. That's a good shot. Pretty hard to miss that one, as I said, and I don't know for sure where the best place to end up would have been, but looks like Tao now will have a chance at a double. It's a very good shot. They played that with just a little bit of a down weight takeout shot, so weren't very concerned about removing that red stone. That really wasn't something they were worried about at all. And that makes sense. You have hammer. That rock is barely in the 12 foot. You got a couple rocks spread out across the sheet, so not much point. You didn't really need to worry about that one at all. Sato's last shot here in the, or sorry, no, it's not. It is Shingo Usui. His first shot. No, that's Kitami. Well, it has me a bit confused now. The shirt of the thrower was oh, that's the name of the place. Okay. It's interesting. Some of the European teams and some of the teams that are from provinces and things like that, they have that on the back of their sweater. So when I saw the name, not completely convinced we're giving you the right names on some of these players, judging by what I'm reading on the backs, their backs. But if we are not, we do apologize. I don't have my chat box working thing tonight, so I can't even try to seek out help on YouTube, which I usually do. So third zone for Hirata. Gotta get by, though. Gotta get by. I don't think so. Ooh. That is not a good one. Needed to get by there. So Tao with hammer will look to just split the house even further. Just go to the right-hand side as we look at it down the sheet. Now it'll be the left-hand side, but just looking to spread these out as far as he can spread them out, try to eliminate Probably can't eliminate all doubles, but can maybe at least eliminate the easy doubles. That's a good shot. Definitely a double there, but we weren't going to be able to prevent that one. So Team Hirata here will look to make a double on one on the button and the one on the left. He has to pick that one just because the angle's a little better. It is a slightly, the one on the left here, as we look at down the sheet, is a little bit behind the one on the yellow, which makes the double possible. On the other side, they're almost dead even, which makes it very difficult. He's going to be real close with this. Very nicely done. Okay, so we figured out that Yusui is throwing skips rocks, and Hirata is throwing third stones, which seems like almost every game now we have somebody doing that. Particularly noticing particularly the Asian teams, at least this weekend. I think I've only done 3 games, and I think I've had somebody doing this, at least one person, pretty much every game. The last game was actually the Canadian team of Dustin Kaltoff out of Saskatoon. That was Brent Pierce was calling the game and throwing third stones. Kaltoff throwing skip stones. The first game I can't remember, but I'm sure I had somebody in the first game that was doing that as well. James Craik was playing against, don't know. Have to go back and look. Getting old. So Johnson Tao now with basically just pretty much a draw shot here. A little bit more than a draw shot. He wants to move that rock, I guess. I didn't know for sure. Yeah, he has to move it, obviously. And that's very nicely done. Even got a little bit of an inside roll. So Hirata or Yusui, whichever way you want to go here on this, Yusui being the thrower, really does have to make this. Because if you go after something here and don't make it, you could easily drop 3, and 3 would be a big end, I think, against this team. For and against this team. You can see probably half, a sure half, maybe 2/3 of this stone. And the way the ice curls, it's just a matter of throwing the right weight. It's not a problem if you don't play on this all the time. It's a little bit hard to match that up, the weight on the ice. But these guys with the playing more or less every week on ice conditions very similar to this will be used to that. So they'll know what weight they need to throw that. They're indicating it maybe being down a little bit. Trying to carve it over. I don't know why they don't use a little bit more of an angle on that, but they don't. That's not their thing. So very good shot for Yusui. And does have to be hit now to be able to bring this second yellow rock into play. So Johnson Tao now has just an open hit for 2. Not a lot of room to roll, though. The yellow rock that's there is half, at least half in the 8-foot area, 8-foot on the 8-foot circle. So you can see he wouldn't have a lot of room to roll left or right. So Tao looking to hit and stay for 2 here in the second end. Trying to make this curl hard all the way down the sheet. And I think they're going to make it, but man, I'll tell you what, they had to work at it. That was a very rarely do you see a sweep that goes from the one end to the other end like that when you're trying to make it curl the whole entire sheet. But Tao will pick up his deuce here in the second end, take a 2-1 lead after 2 ends of play here at the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton, Alberta for the Saville Grand Prix. Be back right after the break.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
So I'll get a close game going here so far. Just 2 ends in, a 2-1 score. Johnson Tao from Edmonton ahead of Kohsuke Hirata from Kitami, Japan. Both teams sitting at 1-0. And Hirata with third with a hammer in this one now. Coming in, we'll go sideways as I mentioned before. And there you go, right on the top of the button. Very nicely done. And Yasui calls the game here, so we will go with that. It appears that they actually no, exactly. I think they basically are traditional. It's just that the name is under Hirata for some reason. So I think the actual format they do play is Yusui's in the house calling the game and also throwing skips rocks. So it's just for whatever reason, the name is under Hirata. A very nice shot. Really nice shot by Ryota Meguro. Got Ben Morin now, second stone for Team Tau. Same shot, really, just trying to come right in on top of the red. Ducks in there pretty nicely too. Although it'd be interesting here. You might be able to run. I don't know how much room between the red. There you go. Not very much. Thanks, Connor. I thought maybe at first he might be able to run the yellow and get yellow, red, yellow. I think the red will miss the back one. So see what he does here. See if he just plays this straight back. Tries to pick that top red or how he goes about it. Second stone, Sato. He's going to be close to getting rid of the yellows. That's also a good shot. Yellow still with shot rock, but looking a little bit lonelier than it was before with red stones in the front. Going around the guards. Trying to. He might tick this one. Yeah, he did. A little bit of a rub. So a bit of a mistake. Sui, if he's got the nerve to play it, could play the yellow on the yellow and leave the yellow buried. Or sorry, leave the red buried behind the guards. Just got to know exactly where you want to hit it, and you probably don't want to overthrow this. But you have enough. You're going to move quite a few rocks, so we'll see what he goes with. This will be a very interesting shot, if for no other reason than whatever the outcome is. Must be close. So just couldn't quite get enough of that back yellow to move it, but I'll tell you what, there is a lot of red rocks around. Johnson Tao would like to make a hit and roll off of that red. So it looks like Cannon whiffs first shot here. Needs to get a little inside flop, and he will. That's a ball. Nice stone. But nice, but certainly an opportunity here for Team Hirata to make a run back double. Short, could be long, depending on which rock he goes with. And he should be able to leave this in there buried. Well done. Very, very nice shot. turn this whole end around. We'll have another look at it. Third stone Hirata. Just off nose. Beauty, and stayed right there as well. So super nice shot for Team Hirata there. So Hirata now was in pretty good position to maybe come up with a deuce here. So Hirata now playing a comeback, or come around. Coming in, doesn't want to bounce off it. Would be better to go by it. I think it worked out okay, but he could have actually just snuck a by there at the end. It might have worked out a little bit better, but still pretty good end for Hirata. Nice run back and pretty good weight on that. Just a little tiny bit heavy, I guess. Want to wish good luck to our colleagues Dave and Sean as they are down in Pittsburgh curling this weekend. I don't know where they left from. It seemed like it took them a long time to get there, but they're there. So Johnson Tao now looking to play the hit. I don't know if he can get anything more than remove number 2 here. I don't think he can get inside of that. He's making a pretty good effort at it. Holy cow, I'll tell you what. Cannon whiff is a very, very brave third. This is like, I don't think he really realized this was going to get quite that close to this guard. It was like, it looked fine here. It looked like, oh, it's going to be by several inches, and then it just hooks. And man, he gets by probably half an inch, maybe 1.5 centimeters max. So pretty tough now. I don't know. I have to assume that the redstone is still shot rock, because if it wasn't, then I think they would be running this red back. Front end still thinking that maybe that's not such a bad idea, but not necessarily all on the exact same page here. Appreciate all the responses and help on the chat. Just so you are aware, I'm not able to respond for some reason today. I don't seem to be able to get it to work properly. I can read, but I can't write. So if I'm not answering you, I apologize for that in advance. Good looking shot here. If they can sneak it by, will they get it by? And not quite, but you know, I don't know how good that is, because I think now Johnson Tao could maybe, if they have the same amount of nerve they had on the first shot, which would take a lot, I think, he could go by here and hit, go off his own, or go off the red one that he's going to hit, and just bump onto the yellow, move the red over. You can see that right there. He showed just exactly what I had in mind, and sit shot rock. Now, you do have to be a little bit careful, and I would highly recommend they don't play this quite so close to the guard next time. If you ever tick the guard, you're giving up 3, and 3 would be big right now. Thanks, Megan. I thought that was the case, because I remember doing a game of theirs, and I was pretty sure that he was skipping. Very interesting last name Kenan has. It's just not quite sure how to pronounce it. I think you just sort of almost forget the P is in it. But so Johnson Tao now, as a coach, stands directly behind, wants to have a close look at this one. Very nice slide Johnson has. As I said many times, almost everybody now has a really nice slide, especially those coming out of university programs. That's not going to really do what he wanted it to do. So the guys are having a look now to make sure that they, who is shot, well, pointing at the second. So I have it down here as Sato playing second, and I don't think he's here. If everybody's playing with shirts that they own, we've got Miura playing second. That's pretty close. Good job, Connor. I still think it's red by not very much, but we'll know in a minute, one way or the other. Maybe a little over a minute. Draw for what we think is probably 2 here, but he can't afford to touch that yellow one, I don't think, at all. And will he sneak it by? And he does. And will it stop? And it will stop as well. That's a great draw. Thanks. It's a tremendous draw by Usui. Usui, actually. I'm saying this wrong. So it's Usui. And we will see what the outcome is here. We think it's 2 for Hirata. I'm going to hang it up right away, so we'll hold till we get that. And it is a nice draw. Gives him a 2-point here in the third end, and we will go to the fourth end with Hirata leading 3-2 over Johnson Tao. We'll be back right after this break.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
So we're back after a very nice draw by Shingo Usui for a 2 in the last end. He leads 3-2, and Johnson Tao now with Hammer playing end number 4. Good game so far. He's working hard to bring this one in, and it will get in and bury. Pretty near bury. Looking to sit on the corner of the yellow. This is Maguro's second shot. Doesn't want to bounce. Bounced again. Last time we had about 2 or 3 rocks that just almost perfect, but for both teams that just bounced off. Just that really, just like literally a couple of inches. But it makes the removal much different. So Andrew now, this second rock here in the 4th end. Working hard to hold it there, and they're fine. Just enough weight to pass it through. Nicely done. Usui now will look to try to get both these yellow rocks. I'm pretty sure this is Miura. And looks like he's got it. And he does. Very nicely done. Does leave the guard, but he couldn't do anything about that. It is a center guard. Going to have another quick look at it. See, big leg drive. Foot exploding out of there. Very good balance. Just a little bit of kind of almost heavy cleaning. Getting both stones. There was no way he could save a shooter. There's no way he could save anything really there other than just get rid of everything and let Johnson go ahead and play the draw around the center guard with his second stone Ben Morin. Curls so hard right here that if it's moving at all, it's going to poke out the other side, so you don't want to be... Yeah, that's perfect. Usui looking at the run back now. A fairly long run back. You've got probably, what would that be? I'm thinking 6, 7, 8, 9 feet, somewhere around there. Your second rock. Made a very nice shot on his first one, looking to do the same here. This is going to be in the neighborhood, I think. Very close, very nice. He's a little disappointed because it curled too much. It's a different way the game changed. We would have been ecstatic to make 2 of those in a season back in 40 or so years ago when we used to play a little bit more seriously. And those shots were not quite as common. Now, if you don't make it and stick it, you feel like you just completely missed it. Well, these guys do anyways. So the same idea now, come around the guard. The guard's actually out another width of the rock, so just that ever so slightly tougher. And this one's good as well, so Morin has no problem making 2 very nice come-arounds. This one he might be able to get to be honest. This one kind of popped out probably a third of the rock. I actually think it might be easier to remove it by coming around, taking it out, than making this run, but they're going to go with the run. Communicating back and forth, always a good idea. Not that you use it that much and that often, but always a good idea for the competitive team to have some hand signals in your portfolio as well, basically, because it can be tough to hear, and it doesn't necessarily. We'll come back to that in a second. Straight back run here and another beauty. This one almost stuck. Did stay, which is nice, and he almost stuck it right behind. So very nicely done. So just on that, yeah, we're going to have one more look at that. You can see it's just straight out, lots of weight. Gets that leg back. That's interesting how his slider foot kicks way across, way past where you'd like it to be, but it's all about timing. And if you can time your kick so your slider foot comes back under you before you drive out of there, you're okay. But that's a challenge. That's interesting that's the way that is. I would have thought they might have gotten rid of that over time. But and on that, just 1 second here. Yeah, okay, that's going to be a little deep, but Ken is going to slide to the back of the 8-foot. He won't love that one. So, well, yeah, on the signal thing, if you're a competitive team, and it doesn't even have to be necessarily because it's really loud out there from curlers, you will play in some curling clubs that are just naturally difficult to hear in. Like if you have 2 or 3 games going on, it doesn't, you might need more than that here because they have 10 sheets, but it can be really, really hard to hear. So it's always good if you have some hand signals in your pocket, your back pocket, and in your team portfolio so you can discuss and indicate some shots and things like that with the hands rather than hollering down the sheet sometimes. So anyway, just a thought. If you haven't done it and you're trying to be a competitive team, you might want to give that a little bit of thought. So good shot here by Hirata. Johnson Tao kind of in a bit of a dilemma here. He's looking at being forced here if he just keeps playing these hits. He doesn't want to be forced to one, and it's certainly we're trending in that direction right now. Especially with the curl on the ice. Even if Kenna makes a perfect roll here, just rolls totally behind the guard, it doesn't really matter. Because certainly Team Hirata can get at it and actually get right to the nose of it. Whiff needs to get by this guard, and he will. You can see what I mean. It actually goes out a little bit out the other side. Yeah, maybe not out the other side, but basically you can probably get this from either turn. The guard's high enough that so Usue now will play the out turn this time. He may change this yet, I think. Not so sure that that intern wouldn't look maybe just a little bit better, especially since they've already played it. He might also consider drawing here, but and the other choice is to run back. And the only problem with that, if you don't actually stick it, then you're probably giving Johnson Tao the blank end, and he'll probably take it, at least at this point, before we end up losing them down the road, maybe. But I think this intern, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I tend to gravitate towards an intern, but the intern come around looked a little bit more comfortable to me than the out turn on this shot. Some guys really would like to draw here, I think, is the other thing. And then, no, it's not a bad option. And that's what he's going to go with. Usui does willing to talk about it, but then once he decides, and everybody can stay down here and chat about it, but he's going down and getting ready to throw. So front end might want to get down there and help out a little bit. So really, shot rock would be perfect, but anything a foot or two even in front of that rock and not wide open, which it shouldn't be, wouldn't be terrible. Would make the two a little bit more difficult. Let's weigh here. It's out there quite a ways. Both guys going pretty hard now. They need to go, obviously, for weight. Need to go for weight here. Got to get to it, or as close as you can to it. Definitely would have liked to have got a little closer than that. It does make it a little bit of a challenge for Johnson Tao to find a good spot to put his next rock. But if he had gained about one more rock on that even, I don't know what Tao would have had, to be honest. As it is, he hasn't got a ton of room. And he is going on the out turn. Interestingly enough, we played most of the shots in this end going on the in turn. I would have thought he might stay that way, but for what he wants to do, actually, I guess he couldn't do that. I take that back. He has to come on this turn to get to where it is that he's trying to get to. So Johnson Tao with his first of two here in the fourth end. Guys are working pretty hard on this one too. Coming in. Don't think he's going to get there. He's going to be short. Kind of corner the red. So Usui looking at playing basically the same shot again. This front end seems to like to have a lot more input than I think they need to have just yet, but tough shot. Again, you don't have a lot of wiggle room here. You don't have a lot of room to work. You're trying to go by your red. and have it stop between there and the other rock, preferably right on top of the other rock. But you just don't want to make it any easier for Tao to get his 2. Not this is easy now, but they're on this right away. Makes me think he's quite light. Oh, maybe not now. Adjusted. Reset. And you'll see where he goes here. He's going to be really close. Very nicely done. And I don't know. I really am not quite sure. Looks like if they're looking at needing to move it, then it's probably not. It probably is shot rock rather, the red. Everybody in again to chat about this one, but it is kind of a big point. And they have actually moved this game along, well, at what is a halfway decent pace for this year, it seems. It should be 2 hours or maybe a touch over 2 hours, but we haven't had many games that have been anywhere, really, to be honest, close to that. So Johnson Tao playing something. I just don't know what it is. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Well, it's certainly some kind of hit. Or maybe he's just throwing this away. And he is, actually. Kind of thought it looked funny. It looked like he was setting up for an in-turn. So they have, obviously they know, both those teams know who is shot rock, but we might have to wait till we come back from the break. We've got 4 ends down here at the Saville Grand Prix. And just give me 1 second, Connor, before you go. Nope, they're going to take a bit of a break. So we will go to break and we'll be back right after this.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, custom chaos? One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Booster juice, freshly made your way.
That's life. That's what all the people say.
Welcome to the rockshop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
So we're back, and the teams are still on break. So we will give our sponsors one more chance to let you know about what they do and what they do for us. So we'll be back right after this.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
And we are back, rather. And it did turn out that Tao was the shot rocked last end. So we are all tied up at 3. Hirata will retain hammer. Guess not retain hammer, but get hammer back. Wow. That one curled wide open on the other side. I got a good game going here. These two teams are certainly playing without much fear. That's a nice shot. Very nicely done by Andrew Noel. The Stone Ryota Meguro now for Team Usue, or Team Hirata on the board, I guess. We'll go with that. Trying to remove the yellow. And looks like they will do that. Those guards have to be very tight to not have you be able to come around and take rocks out, that's for sure. It is a little bit of, for those that are coming up in careers or those that are trying to understand some of that stuff, that is a key factor when considering the depth of guards. The amount of curl is a key factor in deciding how deep your guards need to be. Certainly working with juniors, sometimes they don't, it takes a little while for that to sink in for them. This looks pretty good. Won't quite get the roll, but pretty nice effort. Hirata, Team Hirata will look to roll to the corner. They have hammer. They sort of like to take the play away from this center guard a little bit. Even though that guard, as we said, is not too much of a factor. Look pretty lonely out there. And they'll get it. And will they stay out here? And they will. Very nicely done. Miura. And Morin again. Another hit. I'd like to hang around for sure. Roll probably doesn't really do much for him right here, but as long as he stays, he's okay. And he did. Watching Kenan sweep it a little bit there. I just found out that, and not surprisingly, that Kenan width is actually has skipped basically his whole career. So this is a new experience for him playing third and taking on this sweeping role. And even at this age, when these guys are all in pretty good shape, because they're all like 20 or something years old, thereabouts, it's a challenge sweeping when you're not used to doing that in your curling career, and all of a sudden you're having to sweep, and you're sweeping on teams that are playing at very high levels and all that. It's not like playing in a club game. So kudos for him for making the move. Hope he's enjoying it. They're even from really competing universities, I think, so something about it must work. Still struggling a little bit with Kenan's last name, trying to figure out how to make the perfect pronunciation of that word, but we will keep working on it. Hopefully we'll see him again this year, and by then maybe we'll have it down perfect. This is a good-looking shot. Won't quite get over. Pretty obvious that Hirata here would really like to blank this end. Doesn't seem to be particularly interested at all in playing around that guard. Not a bad end to blank if you can make that happen. Blank 5 tied up and have Hammer playing 6. Score at least 2 in the 6th, and you should be in a good position to win the game in the 8th. And he is going to go the other way by mistake, but it does give Tao a chance to make that little tiny flop inside and make things a little bit more difficult for Hirata. So Kenan with a chance to make the roll here. We're going to go with just a first name for a little while till I get that thing figured out. Very nicely done. Didn't quite get all the way over, but heck, good try. Hirata can get it though. We always knew that. We said that earlier in this end. He's never going to be able to make a roll behind there that you're not going to be able to dig out. So third stone Hirata now. Sneaking it by, and they will get by no problem. Hit half a rock and roll to the wing again. Nicely done. Not much happened in this end as far as rocks in play, but it's really kind of been quite interesting how Hirata, actually Uswe, I guess really more than anybody else, has been able to play this end and keep that rock out there for as many shots as they have. When they've had to get a roll to get out there, they have. Really impressive. Like he said, to call the ice perfect for that, the sweeping perfect for that, and then the throwers obviously have to do their job. But pretty impressive. And, Team Tao, on the other hand, came pretty close the last time with Kenan's 2 shots to making that as tough as they could. But it's just, that guard is just too long. to make that work. So only 4 rocks to come. We'll see what happens. Johnson, Tao, Ben Morin on the broom. Trying to get it over a little bit more, but it's a good shot. Usui now will definitely not want to roll towards the middle. Not so much that he wouldn't be able to get at the next rock, but he really wants to be able to blank, and it's going to be a lot easier blanking if the rock he's trying to hit is wide open, and he doesn't have to finesse his way around a guard to make it work. Shingo Usui now. Punch that one out a little bit, but they're on it very quickly. Doesn't really want to roll. He really wants to stay out there, so, and he will. Seemed a little bit quick to jump on there, so I wasn't quite sure what happened. He got a little smile on his face. He maybe didn't. Sometimes you don't throw it exactly the way you want to throw it, so you do tend to sometimes chuckle a little bit about how you feel like, okay, I got away with that one a little bit. So Johnson Tao now he's a little higher up again, so he maybe can get this behind the guard and make it a little bit tougher for Usui to blank. Actually, it'd make it a lot tougher if he actually got a good roll. That's why, the Japanese team would have liked to have gotten maybe a roll a foot and a half towards the outside, because Tao was still going to have to hit it. But anyway, needs to get about a 3-foot run roll here in order to make it difficult for Shingo Usui to remove and roll out himself. Andrew now on the broom inside. And he's going to roll, but he's going to roll too far. Way too far. It does stay, which is a bit of a success. I think they maybe just misjudged that a little tiny bit on the brooms. I mean, they were on it. They had to go on it, but it just kind of got away a little bit there on them. But big shot here, though. You don't want to go through a whole end like this, and you see it happen all the time. You don't want to see it happen here. You go through a whole end like this and play pretty much perfect shots, pretty close to perfect shots. So you have an opportunity to blank on that last shot, and then you end up nosing it or something like that. That would be a very unlucky response. It's got enough weight. Sweeper's indicating it was up there. And he's going to be close to staying, and he will. Holy cow, you just see that and see it and see it. I don't know what happened there exactly. He didn't have very much ice, trying to hit and roll outside, but regardless, he will pick up a single here. He will take the lead 4-3 after 5 ends of play. And we'll be back right after the break.
That's life. That's what all the people say.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Hey guys, what can I get started for you today?
Bananas away, regular?
And I'll have the rip berry, but can I get vanilla oat milk and I'll add spinach and ginger? And can I substitute the raspberries for strawberries? Also add the chia and hemp seed, and definitely have the power booster and the collagen booster. And can I get that blended twice?
Wow.
For Alicia, Custom Chaos?
One of a kind.
You're one of a kind.
Blister juice, freshly made your way.
So we're back for end number 6. Center guard went up for Hirata. Attempted to come around here, didn't quite work for Tao. Andrew Knoll came up a little short. Set up a couple of staggered guards. Not necessarily the best case scenario for Tao, but we are very early in this end, so. They come around here. Thrower running down to try to help sweep a little bit, but there's really not a lot of point in that. By the time you get there, find a place to be able to fit in. But a nice throw. Got it probably more than half buried. So Johnson Tao now will try to move his own. Split this up a little bit. End up with 2 of them on the rings. So Andrew now rather. Working hard to hold this. Looks like he's going to be close. Might not get the second one quite on. Nice try. Just had to hit a little bit thinner, or just a little bit thinner, and probably another few feet of weight would have helped there. Not a lot more weight, just a few feet, like a couple, 2-3 feet. Some discussion what to do now. They can't remove the rocks that are in front yet. They're only at that 5th stone, so unless it's touching the house, they can't do anything with it. Well, I shouldn't say they can't do anything with it. They can move it. They just can't remove it. Interesting situation here. It's where do you put this rock when you don't have the last rock here right now, and what's your plan on the next shot? So that probably makes a difference as to how you're going to play this. So it looks like that's going to be the shot. The out turn draw around, just around the center guard. Just corner a piece of the yellow stone in the 12-foot area. And then see what happens moving forward, because it's it's just a bit of an odd situation. It's set up very nice, but there's no easy way to make it nicer unless you want to go really hard to steal, and I'm not sure that he wants to do that yet. Sweeper going pretty hard on this. I think they're fine. They're going to get by that one. And going to go by this one too, so they might as well go right in, I guess. Not exactly the plan, but it might not be a bad result. So Tao with hammer will look to move some rocks around here. He's trying to drive the red onto the left-hand half of the stone as we look at it. Left hand of the yellow, which would drive it back onto the reds and maybe make a double. So some kind of a quadruple takeout here, in the sense that he's going to try to hit about 4 rocks, but at the end of the day, hoping to get rid of a couple opposition stones. And he'll get rid of, well, get rid of one. Moved a couple, but got rid of one for sure. Still leaves not a great situation. You're going to have another look at this. Van Moren. I don't know if they were exactly where they're trying to hit this, but that was probably, well, obviously not quite in the right place, but maybe relatively close. Just not exactly sure where they were going, but so Usui now is going to ask the second stone for Hirata, which is Miura, to remove the yellow at the back of the 12-foot. And he'll have no problem with that. So Johnson Tao looking at some kind of a down weight type shot. Maybe, I don't know what terms they might use, but I would think something in the area of like a control or an easy control kind of thing here, and trying to make the little hit and flop in between the 2 red stones. And going to be, well, he's going to roll the other way, but just rolled a little too far. It was just about a great shot, I think. Had to stop a little bit shorter of that. The only problem with that was Hirata was going to come around, or Usui was going to come around. So this rock is probably fairly covered from the other end, because you're going to be on the left side of the center line because you're in that hack. So you're probably going to see, I'm thinking, maybe a third to a half max. Shingo Usui taking a long time here. I guess he's ready to go, and I guess it's actually, that screen is frozen up, so we didn't really see him actually set. So a little attempted hit at the rock at the back of the 12-foot. See it on the long view, and they're going to remove it. We'll roll out. Opens the door a little bit for Johnson Tao to give some thought to just drawing. Looks like he's going to do that. So Kennan now, Kennan with letting the come around. This line looks pretty good. I'm gonna go hard now. It's getting really close to that rock. And oh, it will touch it. It was actually just a little light. Sweepers had to go probably harder, almost all the way down, to be honest. So Usue getting more help than he probably wants from the front end here, to be honest. There's times as a skip you don't mind input, and you sometimes welcome the input from anybody, really, but there are other times where it's like, boys, we kind of got this. Not that hard a situation here. There's really no option here. So we don't really need to have a whole lot of discussion with you guys. May not say that, but I bet guarantee he was probably thinking that. Third stone, Kohsuke Hirata. And he is trying to get by that top one. He will, but not by very much either. Curls another inch. He hits that one, the yellow one first. He may not even remove that stone. Kennan now to be playing the hit. Might be trying to get them both here. I'm not sure, but he's going to be close to getting them both anyway. And he does. And he almost rolled buried. That would have been a spectacular shot. As it was a darn good shot, getting rid of both yellows on the, or both reds on the left-hand side of the sheet there as we look at it. Now have another look here. He didn't throw boomer weight at this, but he did throw solid takeout weight. That's really all he's looking for, something that he could hang around with in addition to making the double. And you can see here he gets it toes just on the high side and rolls just a touch too far. So now a hit on the back. Back yellow. On the tee line, a little flop inside would be perfect for Usue. Job there. Just trying to get some pronunciation quick while we were looking. So pretty good situation here for Johnson Tao if he wants to play that little bump. It should stay nicely behind the guards, depending on how he hits this. He can hit it just slightly on the inside, so his shooter, I don't know if you want to hit on the outside. Hit it a tiny little bit on the inside, and your shooter probably helps protecting against a little run back on the reds, maybe. So Johnson Tao's first of 2 here in the 6th end. He was definitely slowed down a little bit as we've moved on here and got a little bit tighter, a little bit more challenging to make sure you don't give up something. So Johnson now trying to make this bump. This line looks pretty good. Over-curling a bit, over-curling a lot now. But no, worked out okay. Or did it? No, he didn't get shot rock. So Shingo Usui, we're looking a little bit at the yellow, red, yellow. Which probably works, but I think you can do better than that with this shot here. Yep. Come right around that. And you could put Johnson Tao in big trouble. Not only that, if they ever played that one that they were looking at first, there's a possibility if you get it just a little bit offline, you just run it back on your own. I don't even know. I don't think this should be part of the conversation. Usui's got it figured out in his mind. He's only one shot he's going to play, and he's going to play it. He just has to get his third to put down the broom and get everybody else to move out of the way, and it'll be good. So it looks like we're ready. Usui going to play the in-turn draw. You can see it's about pretty much 6 feet of ice. Third stone going out to have a little bit of a look. Just, I guess, probably to make sure that they knew that they were going to be, that they were currently shot rock. They will be second shot. When this finishes, hopefully for them, they will put this one somewhere as shot rock. Sweepers jump pretty hard again. Can't make a mistake on this weight here, that's for sure. Usui jumping in to help. Gotta go. Gotta go. They need to get... yeah, that's pretty good, but no more is better. Very good. Good shot. And I think Skipper jumping in to help sweeping there at least made a centimeter or 2 difference in that shot. Maybe not 2. Maybe just 1 centimeter's difference, but it's just not a good idea. I've probably seen... I've seen a few rocks get burned as a result of that. And for the odd time when it might benefit you a little tiny bit, it's probably not worth it. But so Johnson Tao now has to draw. Just needs probably about a piece of the 4-foot to score here. Expect him to be pretty darn close on this. Yeah, it's on its way. Bears just kind of got the brooms down. And always a good idea to keep a broom down, even when you're not exactly sure yet where it's going to be. But this looks pretty good. Coming in, and it will stop on the tee line. And a very good shot by Johnson Tao, and we're tied up once again as we go to end number 7 here at the Saville Grand Prix at the Saville Community Center in Edmonton, Alberta. You're watching on Curling Stadium. We'll be back right after this.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
So 2 ends to play in regulation here in the third round of the Saville Grand Prix. In this game between, well, it says Hirata. Hirata, though, is actually the third stone. So it's Kohsuke Hirata is the name it's under, and Johnson Tao. But you will see that Shingo Usui is the actual game caller and the final rock thrower. So I suppose in reality it probably should be under his name, but regardless, whatever name it's under, it's a tie game. So, and it's been a good one. Been enough misses to keep it interesting at times, but everybody making the shots that they have to make for the most part. So Johnson Tao will try to force Hirata to take one here or steal one. And that's pretty good. So we're out of here with hammer. Doesn't really want this to get too messy. I often wonder if it's not a bad time to throw one out in the wings, to be honest. We don't ever do that hardly anymore, but the next shot, you know, you're probably going to throw some kind of a peel. So Usway says, let's just come right in on top of our own. I think he's thinking ahead and thinking in this next shot he's going to be peeling the yellows. Could be wrong on that, but that's what I think they're going to do. This Ryota Maguro, the lead, his second stone. Coming in nicely, should be very good. Yeah, well thrown. So a little tap going on here for Johnson Tao. Still at second stones here, so this is, I guess we're just getting started on second stones. And more in. That's a very nice sweeping job by Andrew Knoll. Took that pretty much right out of his hand. Took it all the way down the sheet. Hirata definitely looking to move more than one stone here. And they're on it. Ooh, this is going to come up and take his own, maybe. No, he missed the back one, but didn't really do much for him. So Tao looking at another guard. I said, just looking for a guard here. Do the trick. It's interesting here right now because Hirata is sitting 2. Team Hirata, at least, is sitting 2. And they're trying to figure out how to open it up. So a lot of discussion here. Like I say, it's difficult for Hirata because he's sitting 2. And having a hard time convincing himself that he'd be better off opening anything up. But he's going to. One thing I don't like about this is I don't know if on the next shot or a shot later than that, Johnson Tao can't just hit that yellow one hard at the top of the 8-foot and remove both reds, but could be wrong. So the peel goes up and the guard will go back up again. Or the peel comes off, I guess, and the guard will go back up. Somewhere in the next couple shots, strategy will change a little bit. It's just a matter of when and by how much. Kenan with third for Team Tau. I said Kevin there, Kenan. And he'll get over there. They don't really need to protect much of the outside of that at all. This is getting a little crazy with the team shots. Every single shot, pretty much. Well, it's really difficult to see what they're thinking about. There's not a lot of rooms pointing and all that kind of stuff. We don't have any mics on them, so I'm not quite sure what they're thinking of doing. But again, it's the same thing I've said a couple times now. It is a little bit of a challenge for them because they are sitting two. And how badly do you want to open things up is the big question. So now they are looking at actually playing a guard, perhaps playing a guard, which would be very different than what you would normally do, for sure. But I understand they're thinking. This does open up the back red, though. Leaves the back red open for Johnson Tau. Here's the right side to guard, though, if you are going to guard, because I think that if Johnson Tau plays the yellow on the top of the 12-foot there, if he can get enough of it, which would be pretty much a nose hit he'd need to get, then nose hit with a little bit of weight probably moves all of the red ones and leaves him sitting one or two, but can't get there now if you guard this up. So then I think what you'll see is Tau to come around on the outturn. So here it comes. Just a guard, so it's not going to be anything spectacular here. Just trying to get a guard out there about halfway between the other rock and the house. And not have it over curl too much. And that's a pretty good shot. Nicely done. Really tough now to get by there with enough weight to make any kind of a difference. So Kenan now playing the draw to the back red. He's working pretty hard here to get this in. They want to get by that top one. Again, not a very good result for that one. Actually, that's kind of determines what Team Hirata will do now, because you kind of force them into playing a draw. Going to be getting a little difficult for Johnson Tao here, I would say. This is a very, very long end. This way looking for guard. Read about there. I don't know if you want to be quite that far out. I think you still want to make the hole a little bit tough too, but just trying to stop the draw to the button on the intern side. So that probably does that, to be honest, but so Kohsuke Hirata, rather. Guard on its way. Going to be more or less even with the rocks that are already out there. Nice thing about this shot is at least they took the route away, which so many times we're seeing them play these kinds of shots and they're not taking away the access to people, in the sense that, you know, for this shot, for example, if Hirata hadn't thrown that intern side would be very accessible for Johnson Tao, but he did throw it, so he can't really get there anymore, even though it still looks like somehow he should be able to, but he can't, and he wouldn't if well, unless he really had to need to. We really needed to. Like I said, I don't think he can do that, though. Can't get by with the right weight. You're going to have to throw it too hard. Still 4 rocks to come in this end, believe it or not. There's nothing wrong with Tao just forcing Hirata into one as well. So if he were to take the out-turn draw away, excuse me. So Johnson Tao going after this here a little bit. Bit surprised with this. It seems like, it feels like to me, he could come around on the out turn and move that red one. You may not get shot, but Hirata is going to have a heck of a hard time getting two. But anyway, so he's playing a raise. I'm not exactly sure. I assume he's playing the raise onto the yellow that's already frozen to the red, sort of in the middle of the pack here. But let's have a look. Well, I don't think he made it much better, but he didn't really make it any worse either, so call it a wash. No pun intended. Just not very much to say right now. So basically almost a guard or a draw in here that just it doesn't disturb stuff too much. It's not a guard actually, because it's so Shingo Usui on here with this one, his first one. It's coming to the back one. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know that that's a great result. Really couldn't afford to be heavy on that. There's not a lot of room. The one thing I will say, there's not a lot of room though for Usui to score his second point here. So, and there's also not a lot of room for McDonald to hit this and roll inside. I have to hit it about right about there. You hit a little tiny bit too thick, and the red on the top of the button is going to be in the way. And it's pretty much impossible to hit it too thin without actually taking out the other rock, or moving the other rock at least, which they also don't want to do. Johnson, if nothing else here, if he can make the double, and I think the double's pretty near a guarantee, make the double, the worst case scenario for you would probably be to give up 2. And you're going to be down 2 with coming home. Not the end of the world. Trying to find a way to only give up 1 is proving to be very difficult here. Not as much now because you have a chance to get that red rock off the back. If that rock that they just threw stopped 6 feet shorter, might have been a different story. So Johnson Tao now. With a bit of a scary takeout attempt, not throwing a ton of weight, so that's good. Pretty good shot in there. Trying to figure out what's what there. Looking like red, I believe. But I'll tell you, it's going to be a tough 2. So McDonald might escape this end with only a single point against him, which would be obviously exactly what he would have liked to have had at the start of this end. Very difficult draw coming up for Shingo Usui, but it does have an opportunity. Got to make it by the top ones. He has to stop. That's the problem. Will it stop? And this is close. Really close. And I think he's got it. That one for sure. It's two red. That's a terrific draw. There really was not much room to work. He was going to have another look at this. Sweeper's wanting to go a little bit, but knowing that this has to stop. And man, I'll tell you, he did not have very much room. And Kennan did everything he could to get it out there far enough to not count, but a big 2 here for Hirata in the 7th end, and he will take a 2-point lead to the 8th end of play when we return from the break.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting 10-fold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
So a big 2 here for Team Hirata in the 7th end. And I'll tell you what, that was a great 2 because McDonald made it really difficult. And Hirata was up to the task. And you're just going to have one more look at it coming in here. Like, he just does not have a lot of room for this rock to stop. Like, it doesn't count yet. It's not counting yet. Still not counting. So it counts from there to there, and that's it. Like, that's the extent of the area that he could draw to and still have that rock count, and he managed to do it. So a great shot, and probably more importantly, a great sweeping job on that. And they will get 2 points in the 7th end, take a 2-point lead coming into the 8th here. So, barring the club shutting down for some curfew, we might get through this end in about 15-20 minutes and get out of here. It's we've been 2 hours and 25 minutes for 7 ends, and that's just a long time. Looking for, I don't know what yet. It's kind of funny. Kohsuke's been seems to have been a pretty good plan all along himself, just that everybody else wants to have input. But now all of a sudden he's kind of wondering where to go here. So looking for a tight guard. I don't even know if he wants it just in or just out, but somewhere around that top of the 12-foot area. Looks like probably maybe just outside the rings, just so it's not removable yet, but not very far out. And probably wouldn't be upset if it actually slid in a little bit, because McDonald's probably not doing anything with it yet anyways. So it's going to stop there. Definitely left the back rock accessible, but again, McDonald does need 2 points, so he's got a couple guards up there now. One of them's not his, but still gives you an opportunity. So come right around here. So, a nice draw in there for Team Tau. A nice shot by Lead Stone to set up a good situation at this point in the end. It's kind of early, but looks like Team Hirata will come right on top of that. This one looks pretty good as well. I didn't quite get there. Thought it was going sliding better than that, but interesting now for Johnson Tao where he wants to go here. It's been more in to come around everything here. Haven't been out quite this far. It'll be interesting to see what the speed is like out here and if it's any different. Not out much further than where we've been, but was out a few inches, probably 6 inches out past where we've played before. This one's going to be maybe a little warm. So Team Hirata will just follow that in. Well, after another meeting. Two-point lead. Question becomes how hard you want to go here. I think with a 2-point lead, I'm probably coming right around all of that. Would want to have another rock in there for sure. Well, they've settled on it anyway. Not too long of a break there, so looks like to come around into the area of probably full 4 foot, maybe above the tee line. Maybe even just not quite to the 4 foot would be okay as long as the line is good. Ooh, you're going to rub the guard, and he will. Probably doesn't hurt him any, but doesn't really help much either, and does give Johnson Tao a chance now to call the exact same shot, really. As Hirata played, just looking to be in the area of full 8 foot at the top. I think I'd like to be number 3 here probably, but so Ben Morin with his second here in the 8th end. It's looking okay coming in. Needs to curl a little bit. It's a pretty good shot. So it was interesting trying to figure out how they're going to make a play eventually on that red rock. This Team Tao, at least. You're right here. I don't know if he used to skip or not, but he is in there all the time. He's the second stone, so. So looking to be frozen to the yellow, but it doesn't have to be. It's sort of got the impression that as long as they have the line right, they'd be pretty happy with being in front of the yellow. If you draw just a straight line back up parallel to the center line, anywhere in that area he seems to be happy with. What he's trying to protect against, I'm not 100% sure. Possibly the angle run on the yellow. So Kohsuke Hirata. Now, this one looks a little wider than we've been, but maybe not. Starting to move. Will it get over far enough? That's the question. It has to get over far enough that it doesn't run on its own, and probably got away with that. So Johnson now is going to call the troops down and have a discussion. Or at least Kennan. The other guy's coming along as well, so. Sure, these guys are talking about whether or not they need to open this up here to ensure that they have an opportunity to do something later. And because right now it's, you know, you've got only 4 rocks to come to, and you do have to be able to get at least 2, and I know you want 3, but I just don't know how you're going to get it. Now, the problem for Johnson is that it's mostly red rocks out in front, so there's not much there that he can run back in. There's the one yellow rock, and that actually probably goes through that port, and maybe even can go through the port and go yellow-red, kind of get rid of the red, but heck of a hard shot. So they made a decision. They're going to move something around out here. Actually going to move quite a bit around by the look of that. Going to go red, that red, that red. Probably not terribly helpful. Trying to think where they're going to go here. Yeah, I really don't know what they can do about speeding the game up without using clocks and all that kind of stuff, but it does strike me that they should be able to enforce some kind of a not everybody in the house every shot rule. Rada now in probably not bad shape. He has to be a little careful here, and he could probably guard the yellow tap. You pop the overhead on for a second, Connor, if you could. Yeah, just trying to see whether or not what happens if the red or the yellow goes on the red, and does the red go on the other yellow or not? Probably does a little bit, but okay, thanks. So they're going to move the red up a little bit. It's interesting. Or are they? After all that, nope. You're going to go Maybe straight guard. I don't know what that means, but got to make sure you have enough ice here because you got to know what you're guarding. So Kohsuke Hirata, last rock in the 8th end here. Need to not have this over curl. Kind of what I expected, actually. It just didn't look like enough ice. Not to mention, as we've talked numerous times, you can afford to leave a little bit of a hole there. You know, you don't have to be 100% over there. You've got the width of the rock at least to work with. So you actually just did not gain a single thing with that shot that I can see, other than maybe at some point there would have been some kind of run back that might have been able to use that yellow that is no longer possible. But Johnson Tao definitely in some trouble here, though. Trying to figure if he can hit this, the angle, if he can hit this perfect, pick the other red off the button. And actually, if he does that, nice change of shot. But if he did play the other one, if he picked that off the button, chances are the one that's coming across, it's currently just off the 8-foot, would go out through that hole and leave him sitting, well, I don't know, 1, 2, or 3, depends on who is shot amongst those 3 stones that are all about inch or 2 or whatever outside the 4-foot. We have got a timeout for Team Tao, which would indicate to me that they have a coach. Well, we know they have a coach because we saw him standing up earlier. Because if he didn't, it wouldn't really be any reason to call the timeout. You just stay out there and take however much time you want. It's tough here because if you do peel the 2 at the front, you might redirect the yellow or the red that's in the top of the 12-foot somewhere, but you may not end up helping yourself. But I'm not sure that you cannot do that. I just think, as Ken just pointed out there, excuse me, I think if you tap that yellow on the red just jams on that back one. So you end up not sitting 2 after all. You may sit 1, but you're not sitting 2. And so I'm not quite sure what they've settled on here. Oh, he's going to show us right now. So a little tap on the yellow, roll to the wings, and it may well jam on the back one a little bit, but he's decided it really doesn't matter. He needs to move something. So Kennan, Whip, will attempt to make this. It's coming in pretty nicely. Looks pretty good. Very nice. Does have shot rock now. The only thing bad is that I think there's a double on the yellows. You couldn't go off of that one if you wanted, but you could also make the double off of this yellow. Pop that yellow out through the hole and just exactly right there. That probably leaves you counting, well, would leave you counting 1, probably 2, if you hit this one first. Man, they've decided, I think. Well, maybe not 100% yet, but getting there. So Shingo Usue now will have a double attempt. A double attempt on the 2 yellows. Didn't overthrow it. Needs it to curl, I guess. Going hard. He's going to be close. Makes it. Didn't quite get as much of it as he hoped to get. He was hoping he'd be able to stay there. Needed to hit probably, could have hit another couple of inches of it probably and made the double. It's not bad though. Very difficult for Johnson Tao to do anything with your front red one. And I don't know whose second shot. He's indicating maybe yellow. If that's the case, then it gives you a little bit more of an opportunity here to do something. You just don't want to go right back to it just because if Shingo follows you down, you will have no chance to do anything if he makes a good one. So good news is that's the first shot call we've had for a while where we didn't have a convention to do it, so that's good. Has been a good game. I hate to be critical on the time. It's just there has been a lot to discuss and all of that, but they just have to be able to play faster, both these teams, I think, and predominantly Team Hirata, but both teams, they just can't do those big get-togethers as often as they have these last few ends. But anyway, we're just a few rocks from the potential end here. We might have one more end to play, but that's fine. So Johnson Tao now on an out turn, trying to draw basically T-line or slightly above the T-line. Working out here. This one's over curling. staying on it because they know if they bump it a little bit, they would have maybe been. I guess they didn't really want to bump it at all. Well, Tao's now in what I would suggest would be a heap of trouble. Because I just don't know where he gets his 2 points. I think they may have just kind of waited a little long here. Just a lot more ice this time. Just looking around, trying to figure out how and where Team Tao can get to, regardless of where this one goes. I'm just not even sure that I see that probably right now, the outturn come around to the back and as close to that front one as you can. You might be able to move the red back enough that you're going to sit 2. Because I think they indicated earlier that the yellow on the right was going to be, whatever, number 2. Well, let's see where Usui puts this one. So he puts it pretty much where he wanted the last one. This is really, really tough. Going to take a couple of minutes to see if there's even a shot. I'm just not sure that there's a shot here anywhere. Keeping in mind that he does need 2 points. Can't just get 1 and have it work. I don't know if he can get to enough of the top yellow. He'd have to get to, I don't know, maybe half rock. He'd have to end up making a, I don't know what that would be, an angle raise double takeout, and I don't even know if it's there. But they have decided that they've got to throw something, and this is what it's going to be. So he's basically, from what I can figure, going to, well, just wait a second till I see where he's going here. I think going to run the yellow, on the red, and the red on the other red, and maybe hit a little high side, or would that be high, or that'd be low side, I guess. And have both reds disappear and score 3 for the win. That's kind of what I think they're looking at. Not sure you couldn't throw this all day long and not make it. Not even once, but we might see it here tonight. Very confident guys. I think if they just even had something that seemed to be half reasonable, I wouldn't bet a lot of money against them making it that. I just don't think this one is there, but you got to play something. You're not going to play nothing and just shake. If you have any remote chance at all, you see any kind of shot that's even possible for anybody to make, you might as well throw it. Yeah, red. Oh, look at this. Look at this. So close. What a try. Holy smokes. That was a great effort. I'm going to have one more look at this, just trying to figure out where exactly he needed to hit this to be different. Or where this needed to be different, whatever the right way to say that is. So he's going to run the yellow. Yellow onto that red. Hits that. That's where the problem was. He kind of had to be able to somehow hit the red on the other side to try to split it through the hole. But man, I'll tell you, that's a heck of effort by Johnson Tao. And he will actually end up picking up 1. And Team Hirata will defeat Johnson Tao by a 6-5 score in a bit of a marathon, but an interesting game just the same. And that will conclude our day here at the Saville Grand Prix. On behalf of myself, Connor Sims, and Curling Stadium, we would say good night, and we will see you again tomorrow for multiple games once again here at the Saville Curling or Grand Prix. That's it for us. We're out. See you.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.